When brainstorming film pre-reviews, I research numerous articles and sites. During the searches, I tend to come across off-topic pages that, while having little or nothing to do with the films I'm studying, are nonetheless interesting, and puts my mind into overdrive. The subject matter is random food for thought, but I wanted to start including these cogitations in a spin-off series I'm going to call Marplotic's Miscellaneous Musings. The series will not replace my pre-reviews. They're just short tidbits. So my first miscellaneous musing came about recently one day when I saw a question posted on a site about the Koopalings. The person had asked why their names differed from the ones in the Mario 3 cartoon series from 1990. The query had since been answered, but it got me thinking that there are still some people out there who hadn't been informed of the answer to this riddle that popped up 26 years ago. Back in the mid-1980s, Nintendo was the behemoth of the gaming world, and their most popular character was Mario, the platform-jumping, brick-crushing hero of the Mushroom Kingdom. The game that catapulted Mario, and his brother Luigi, to eternal international fame was 1985's Super Mario Bros. The popularity only spread when the game was included with the North American Nintendo Entertainment System action set in 1988. During that same year, North America got Super Mario Bros. 2, which was, in reality, a converted version of Yume Kojo Doki Doki Paniku. Mario Fever didn't end there, though. On September 4th, 1989, the animated/live-action Super Mario Bros. Super Show began airing on television. On December 15th, 1989, North American audiences got their first glimpse of the highly anticipated Super Mario Bros. 3, when it premiered as the grand finale game in the film The Wizard. Between that and the commercials advertising the game everywhere, Mario 3 was the must-have title of 1990. When it came out in February, it couldn't stay on the shelves long enough. The game introduced players to overworld maps, power-up suits with unique abilities, mini-games, smooth gameplay, and new enemies. The most intriguing of these foes were Bowser Koopa's 7 children, the Koopalings. The Koopalings served as bosses at the end of the 7 out of 8 worlds. In both the instruction booklets included with the game and the Nintendo Power Super Mario Bros. 3 strategy guide, the Koopalings are shown with their respective names: Larry, Morton, Wendy, Iggy, Roy, Lemmy, and Ludwig. Around that time, Deke Entertainment, the same company behind the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, was busy working on a Mario 3 series. On September 8th, 1990, the new series debuted on Saturday morning NBC. While the cartoon featured the Koopalings, their names were not the same as their game counterparts. This baffled many people. The other characters' names in the show were true to their game names. What had caused the Koopa Kids changes? Some people had thought it was due to licensing rights, but that didn't make sense, as the entire show clearly had obtained the rights to include characters, names, and music that were property of Nintendo. Using the accurate 7 additional names of the Koopalings would have fallen under the rights Deke Entertainment had already secured from Nintendo to make the show. The answer, it turned out, had to do with Nintendo of Japan. In the Japanese version of the game, the Koopalings did not have individual names. Rather, they were collectively known as Kokupa Nanakyodai, Child Bowser's 7 siblings, and Kokupa, or Child Bowser. Contrary to popular belief, the name Koopa, or Koopa as it's known in the Western world, does not apply to the turtle enemies as a whole in the Japanese version. It is purely the name of the tyrannical Turtle King Western players know as Bowser. Even in the English-translated Super Mario Bros. 3, Toad would refer to that particular world's Koopaling as Little Koopa, meaning the English edition names were chosen after the game had been translated. Dave Brooks, an employee of Nintendo of America at the time, was in charge of naming the Koopalings, and he got his inspiration from musicians and celebrities. Morton Koopa Jr.'s name was based on Morton Downey Jr., Wendy O. Koopa from Wendy O. Williams, Iggy Koopa from Iggy Pop, Roy Koopa from Roy Orbison, Lemmy Koopa from Lemmy Kilmister, and Ludwig van Koopa from Ludwig van Beethoven. Brooks admitted he simply chose Larry because the name suited the character. The previously unnamed siblings finally had proper monikers instead of the blanket term Seven Siblings or Child Bowser. Unfortunately, DiC Entertainment did not get the memo about the new names. They had been given the task of translating the anonymous 2D sprites into characters for television, and names were essential. Therefore, DiC Entertainment gave them, more or less, nicknames based on the personalities suggested in the scripts. Larry became the underhanded Cheatsy, Morton the loquacious Big Mouth, Wendy to spoiled rotten cootie pie, Roy changed to the oppressive bully, Ludwig became the mad scientist Kooky, and Lemmy and Iggy were switched to the twins Hip and Hop. Even with the release of the Super Mario World cartoon 1 year later, DiC opted to keep the nicknames, probably to avoid confusion. So, there you have it. The reason why the Koopa Kids' names differ in the cartoons and games. Both Nintendo of America and DiC knew the nameless siblings needed identities, and each company concocted their own variations. It's just a little fun fact in Mario history.